Well, a back-to-school bus tour making its way through Michigan with the goal of raising the bar for public education. Joining me now is U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona. Welcome to the show.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Yes, we know you are very busy right now, so we definitely appreciate you for being here. This is a busy week, a multi-state road trip to multiple schools. Tell us, what has it been like so far?
It's been excellent. This back-to-school spirit is alive and well. Seeing kids with their new book bags and sneakers, shiny hallways. We're really celebrating public education, what it means, and how this country is dependent on a strong public education system. It is the great equalizer, and we're celebrating our public schools, but we're also talking about fighting for public education. In many places in our country, it's under attack. We know it's really important to have a good neighborhood school that's well-resourced so all kids could grow.
Yes, and the theme for this year's back-to-school bus tour is fighting for public education. Talk a little bit more about why that's so important.
Well, we see in parts of our country where public education dollars are being used and siphoned to pay for vouchers for private schools. And I'm a big proponent of choice, but I really want to make sure that our local neighborhood public education institutions have the support that they need to grow. And that means making sure students are reading on grade level. That means we're paying teachers a competitive salary. In Michigan, teachers start at like about $40,000 a year. We have to do better. It's making sure students have mental health access and have pathways to careers, not just four-year colleges. So that's what we're fighting for. We're making sure all students can succeed.
Yes, and we saw the devastating impacts the pandemic had on students. Tell us about the work that's been done and continues to be done to help them thrive in school.
Yeah, we're proud about this. We know getting students in school is just the first thing. We have to raise the bar. $130 billion in federal dollars to help provide reading support, after-school programs, mental health supports for students is critical. But we're also continuing that. We just announced a $180 million grant for literacy programs. We want to make sure our kids can read. We've announced $28 million to support teacher quality programs. I visited one earlier today where we had a school that looked at their high school students and said, you could become teachers, and created a pathway for them to go to college to address the teacher shortage. A lot of great things happening.
Yes, and about an hour ago, you visited Detroit's very own Cass Tech High School. You heard from students about the youth mental health crisis. What stood out to you during that visit?
It's critically important that we listen to students directly. A lot of times people like to talk for students. We have to listen to students. And what they're saying is mental health is important, and we want to see it integrated in our schools, not just after the fact. We want to have preventive strategies, because when students are well, they learn better.
Yeah, and you also stopped in Grand Rapids today. I believe that was your very first stop. There you talk with educators who benefited from the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. What did teachers there have to say about that?
Well, look, I talk about the salary, trying to make it competitive. Teachers on average make 25% less than people with similar degrees. So what are we doing about it at the federal level? We're providing debt relief for educators who've been working over 10 years, paying their loans for 10 years. And we listen to teachers whose lives were changed because of this.
And we know there's been a teacher shortage right here in Michigan, across the country. Over in East Lansing at Glen Caron Elementary, they're using a teacher apprenticeship program, which is very cool. How exactly is that helping to combat this shortage?
It's fantastic. They're really supporting prospective teachers. And there's a grant where they're able to, with federal dollars, pay for the tuition of these prospective teachers to then come back and to teach into the classroom so that they don't have a shortage. We need to see more programs like that across the country, and I'm proud to lift up the great work that's happening here in Michigan.
Yes, and of course, a new school year just started here in Michigan, but over in Georgia, we saw yet another tragic school shooting, something that Michigan is no stranger to. What goes through your mind when something like this happens in the midst of your back-to-school bus tour?
First and foremost, not only as a Secretary of Education, but as a father, student safety is the number one thing. And I want to make sure as a country we don't normalize this. We reached out to Georgia right away, and we're offering whatever support they need, but we have to do better. We have to, as a country, we have to say enough is enough. So we're doing everything we can. President Biden pushed and got the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, $2 billion to provide more school social workers, safety equipment for schools. But that's not enough. We need Congress folks to act to prevent 14-year-olds having access to assault weapons in the communities.
And, this tour, it just keeps on going.
Yeah.
We're not done yet.
Not.
Tell us where you're heading next.
Really excited. After today, we're heading over to Pennsylvania. We're going to be visiting Pittsburgh, doing some visits there. We're going to end with a block party to celebrate public education. But look, at the end of the day, we know our public schools are working to help lift our country, lift our students. We're celebrating our students, our families, our educators. We got the kids back, and we know that they're going to get our back when they lead this country. So let's celebrate our public schools. Happy back to school.
Definitely. Lots of work, lots of fun as kids head back to school. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona, we appreciate you for stopping by.
Thank you.